Music Matters, and today I am back with my friend Lance Redeker,
Hello, hello.
the first guest on Music Matters, back for the round two. You're also the first round two. You're the first person we've had twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we
That's
haven't
fucking
had
crazy, dude.
anybody else twice.
That's
so,
sick.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
That's hella sick, dude.
How
Yeah, I
have you
remember
been?
when we first did this, and then ever since then you've interviewed hella more people. So yeah, I don't know.
The goal is just keep growing.
Yeah,
just
dude.
keep interviewing people.
Freaking yeah, and then you've probably gotten hella good at it.
A
ever
little
since
bit.
then.
I'm still kind of shaky at it.
For sure,
It takes time.
I mean,
yeah,
not
bro.
with me though. I mean, we're fucking.
Well,
we're
it's
homies.
different. I know you. Yeah, it's hard going into an environment where you don't know somebody and talk to them about stuff. But it's also it just takes time, and I feel like I
It
changed.
you just have to like when Joe Rogan kept doing it and doing it and doing it. I don't know. He didn't expect it to be crazy. He just got so good at talking to people and he just did it every freaking day, and it just ended up working, and then now it's the most popular podcast ever. This is kind of how it is.
Well, he's at what 2,000 episodes.
Yeah. He's been doing it for the longest time ever.
Which is pretty insane. He kind of paved the way for the new podcast space, because before that nobody really cared about pod. It was weird.
Yeah.
It was a dying art form, and then he totally
Yeah,
revived
Spotify's
it.
paying him. It's a deal where Spotify is paying him to do all
$100
this
million
stuff.
was
Is that
his
what
deal.
they're paying him?
100. I just looked
What
at that the other
the
day.
fuck?
$100 million.
$100 million?
Yeah. So
What
think
if
about
someone
how
gives you
rich
$100
he
million?
is.
What would you do? Someone gives you $100 million. What would you put it towards?
I hate that question. I feel like people always ask me that. I don't know. It's
JK.
But
you could
I wouldn't put it all in one thing. I would
Yeah.
have to put it. I don't know. I think
become an investor.
I'd probably invest 25,000 of it. I'd probably donate 25,000 of it, and then I don't know what I'd do with the rest. What would you do?
Yeah, I'd probably donate a lot of it because that would be horrible if I didn't.
But I feel like
You're kind of I mean, dude, if you have that much money, you're obligated to donate to a bunch of foundations and stuff. I think that I would put it towards just I don't know. I honestly don't know. It would be like Joker made that analogy in The Dark Knight when he said if I caught Batman, it would be I'm a dog going after a red ball. If I caught the red ball, I wouldn't know what to do with it. It'd be like that.
I feel like from a hypothetical standpoint, everybody would say I donate some of it to charity. But then when you really got in the moment, but then when you really got in the moment, you had the money. I feel like there's a lot of people who wouldn't actually donate anything to charity.
Yeah, but I would. I definitely would.
I mean, I think I would too.
I get a really nice house probably. I don't know, and I'd probably get a Mac or something, and then
I
just
don't
get,
even know if I
really...
would buy a house.
What?
I don't even know if I would buy a house.
Dude, where would you live? Where's your ideal dream house? I don't know if I've asked you this before. I don't think I have.
Well, I want to just location or
yeah.
a house?
Well, I mean, I guess location and the type of house.
I want to live. Well, it's not even that I want to, but I'm going to live in LA within the next year and a half. We talked about this.
Same.
You made, but then I don't know. I love the Bay, bro. I would love to retire here. I'd also love to retire though, somewhere on the East Coast. I really I kind of like the idea of a smaller state. Almost something that's more
Lance, I dream of moving to
removed.
Iowa. I dream of moving to Idaho or something.
Idaho?
No, I'm just kidding. No.
Oh.
I just what if you said that to me?
I could live in the country.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I could live in the country, but then when I really get out there, I don't know if I'd like it. I love nature, but it's no.
Oh, the countryside, you mean?
Yeah.
Dude, whenever I go to the countryside, I remember on Valentine's Day I was with Rich, which is my video guy for anyone who doesn't know, and we were just hanging out, and then we were in Brentwood, which is 40 minutes away from me. Really, 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 really rural area.
Brentwood's weird.
Dude, genuinely, I love nature too, but if I'm living there or even around there, and then there's on top of that there's country music playing, oh my god, I can't fucking do it.
Do you not like country music?
I can't. No, dude, it makes me. Well, okay, bluegrassy country music or John Denver. That shit's really, really cool to me. But when it comes to new artists like Morgan Wallen or Luke Combs, it's not even anything towards them. It's just a personal thing. I feel I'm in that role because also their imagery and their songs, it's all very, very yeehaw. For instance, my friend Cyrus, he really wants to make his own country music, but he doesn't want it to be yeehaw. He just want to bring up all that subject matter, which he says that's why country is faltering a lot, is because just the subject matter is I'm on my tractor, or I'm here on my land, or I'm here at this like local bar, listening to country music and country and country and country. So it's kind of like, I think when you make an emphasis on that like lifestyle too, it's also kind of like, I don't know. I get tired of it personally.
I also feel like all the newer,
Makes me sad.
it was kind of weird if you think about it. I feel like all the newer country artists are like trying to recreate the stereotypes that like put their ancestors where they were. Like in
Yeah.
the sense that like I feel like the original.
It's like a part of the style, dude.
Yeah, but it's weird. It's like
Yeah.
you don't see that in any other genre. Like, well, no, that's not true.
Well, with
You do.
rap, you see
definitely
like,
do.
yeah, with rap, it's like, oh,
hip-hop.
money, drugs and shit. And then I guess, yeah, with country, it's like, my crops.
My crops.
Yeah, so I don't know. But then again, that's very out of my ass statements. I don't listen to enough country. It might have evolved a little bit. I think Casey Musgraves is a really good artist, though.
I don't listen to enough country either.
Yeah, I don't know if it's fair for me to say, but I just know that like whenever I'm around it, it really really upsets me like mentally.
I like the idea of like making a country album that like isn't like involved.
And that's like kind of
with
like
that
Casey
kind of subject
Musgraves.
matter.
Yeah,
A little bit. Well, yeah, she has her whole like Spacey Casey thing where it's like her whole thing is like she's like, it's almost like acid. It's like country music, but with the subject matter of acid rock. Like it's like psychedelia subject matter. She talks about like mushrooms and shit, but like
what the
it's
fuck?
country. Oh yeah,
That's so sick.
that's like a big thing.
I remember she was what song was it? I forgot what song it was, but it was on Troye Sivan's newest project, and I think I checked a song out of hers, and she's like a very versatile, like I guess country artists collab with each other, but she's a very like I mean Troye Sivan's a pop artist, so she can collab with like literally anyone. I feel like I don't know, but Casey Musgraves I need to listen to more. But she's doing that. Like I mean, some people would argue to say that she's more of a pop artist than she is a country artist. You know, just because she's like, she's kind of. Because I feel like when you're in country, like you kind of like stay in that lane, but she like, she's like a very very left, quote unquote country artist.
Well, that world's also kind of interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whereas country music like started as like a subculture,
Mm-hmm.
it's now very much so intertwined with popular music. Like most country now is like country pop. Like it's very rare.
It's very yeah.
It's very rare that you have like country music that is just simply like it's very simple instrumentation. Like for example, like original country music, like rockabilly music, for example, like the early music of like the Appalachian Mountains and like the early American settlers that would come west, that was nothing like modern country,
That was like
obviously,
yeah.
like at all. Like it was very like stripped back instrumentation with like harmonicas and just very simple strings, like
with the washboard. Or
yeah. But well, a lot of the early I learned a lot about this because I did part of my in high school. I did like a project on country music.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't on like country music. It was like how
it originated.
no. So the project was I was trying to explain how effectively we couldn't have had hip hop without country music.
Oh, what?
Yeah, well, because the point I was trying to make is that all music is connected in one way or another, and how the evolution of popular music, it's a big butterfly effect. Like that was like the grand point I was trying to make. But back to like what I was saying, like original country music was like rockabilly, and a lot of that before it even mixed with rock at all,
That's
it was just
crazy.
fiddle based music. It was all based around the fiddle. Like it was fiddling bands.
Yeah, I see that in American like folk like, or I guess like growing up when you read the American folk like picture books, you see like the whole bands and they look crazy. They just have like cleaning items as like their instruments and shit. So yeah,
That's
I
another-
didn't know that hip hop had any correlation with country. So that's crazy.
Dude, I don't remember exactly how I linked it all together, but my whole point was like, so like, there is a very cohesive argument that like you can't have any more modern form of music or more modern genre without all of the genres that came before it. So for example, I was trying to explain that like it's not as simple as like blues turned into rock. And rock turned into pop, and pop turned into hip hop or whatever. Like that wasn't. I was trying to say that it isn't that simple. Like every newborn genre is effectively a combination of things that came before it.
Oh, okay.
Like that was the art. Like there's this chart you can look at. It's really cool. I don't remember the name. It's so good though. It's called like Music Gene or something. But it's like this big chart online, and you can go to like different artists and you click, and it like shows you their inspirations. and then it does the same thing for genres.
That's
So it's
that's
like a big
actually
tree.
how like I found like my favorite artists. Like I was like, okay, so I think maybe junior year I was listening to like a bunch of Beach House, and then I'd look at like related artists and I'd see like maybe like uh Lower Dens, I'd see the Skeletons, I'd see Shamir. That's actually how I reached out to Shamir. Is because
Really?
Shamir was one of the related artists to Beach House. Yeah. That kind of like indie pop scene, I guess,
Huh.
which is weird because it's like they're super different, but just kind of like I found a lot of like really really good people just looking at like, okay, I really like this person, who's related to them or who's affiliated to them, and then you'd scroll down and then you'd like see all those artists. But yeah, that's how I found like literally like the best people ever.
Have you ever went on whatthefuckshouldiliston to.com?
No.
That's a website. It's so cool. So it's so all the
Whoa.
website is.
I've been thinking about that. Like I want to like have like a personalized something to kind of like help me curate like the music that I like listen
Oh,
to.
there's a bunch of those.
Yeah. I've just never I've known that there are sites, but not like I don't know. I've never heard that name before, but that sounds sick.
Yeah, the one that I'm talking about.
Do you like type in like who you like and shit?
Pretty much. So what you
That's
do
so
is like
sick.
all the website is like there's just like a little place to like type, and it's like a little search bar, and it
Mm.
says like what it or it, I think the text is like all it says. It's like name an artist you like. So you put like an artist in there, and then it sends you to a bunch of related artists. So it's like I can say like oh like I can type like Lance Redeker, and then it'll like go to like oh. Since you like Lance Redeker, you should listen to Shamir, or you should listen to this artist,
That's
or you
so
should listen to
fucking
that
sick.
artist. Yeah, it's a really cool concept. And there's a bunch of sites like that too. I've seen like multiple of them.
Yeah. I think if you were to go on my name on Spotify, you'd scroll down and then you'd see like like associated artists. I think Gabe Golden Boy is one of them, and I think like AG Club, Q. So literally like all the people that I like listen to, and I think that they put that there. So maybe Shamir listened to Beach House a lot, and that's how.
It's like East Coast.
Pretty
Or
much.
not
Yeah.
East Coast, East Bay, not East Coast.
Yeah, East Bay. I guess. I think the Q's out of Florida though. I think that's all, but yeah. I mean, yeah, AG Club's out of like the Bay Area and shit. But dude, what do you think of the Grammys?
Whack.
Whack?
I didn't even like. I barely. I was like doing stuff on my computer, and I had it like open on my second monitor, and I was kind of, or not my second monitor, my TV, and I was kind of just like listening to it, and bro, I don't know. It seems so whacked. You
Dude.
know, what was even dumber though
Mm.
was the whole controversy with like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion after. That was so
Well, wait, what was
stupid.
wait, what? Well, I missed that.
It was like all these idiots getting upset that like Cardi B and like Megan Thee Stallion were like on like the stage being explicit, and they were like when they like performed WAP, they were like freaking out about it.
What
It's
the
like
fuck?
Cardi B is intentionally dismantling American values. It's like okay, I'm sure she went up on stage at the Grammys and said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to dismantle American values right now.
Yeah, dude. I think the driest. It was probably the driest Grammys I've ever seen in my life. Like
It was boring.
It was well, so that's like another thing is like you have all the famous people there. Yeah, it's kind of like at the All-Star games for the NBA. You had like a bunch of celebrities there, and then it's more hype because you have all those people there. But it's like, it felt like a retirement home. Like, you know, when I was like watching it, it felt like a bingo night at a retirement home, and it just felt really really weird. It just felt kind of off because you know they did what they did what they could though. You know, actually, so there's this guy that I became friends with because of my like first like Project Holbrook, and my mom has been friends with him for a little bit, like off of like I think like Facebook, and he's like he's the previous guitar player for Sarah Bareilles,
Okay.
and I think they were in a relationship for a little bit, but he pretty much went to the Grammys, and then I asked him about it, and then he told me his experience. And then he always said that he was kind of like a geek in high school, but his analogy pretty much was like, he thought that the Grammys was kind of like a high school dance. It was like a homecoming court. And he said that like, you know, there were like a lot of people, you know, going for that homecoming court, but you know, why bother? He saw like a lot of writers that he knew there, and he enjoyed that way more than seeing like Dua Lipa and Billy and, you know, all those people at the Grammys. But
That's a really good analogy.
yeah, no, he said that he was like a comic book nerd in high school, so he never really associated with that like bigger crowd. So, yeah, the Grammys is just like kind of like, I don't know, that's gonna be a very interesting. Hopefully one day. One day I'll be there. One day we'll be there.
I don't know, bro. I feel like by the time that happens, like I feel like the Grammys are losing credibility with
Oh,
each
yeah,
passing year.
definitely.
Like, I feel like people are starting to not care about the Grammys because so many people like The Weeknd are like speaking out about how they just suck. Like,
Yeah, dude, that was some bullshit, dude. I don't even need to talk about that. Everyone already knows about that. Like, fucking, yeah, The Weeknd not getting anything. Crazy. He's just, like, literally, like, so equipped to be just, like, a good Grammy performance, too. He has,
He's,
like, the
perfect.
character down. He had the best album, best song of the year. It's, like...
No, people were saying that like part of the reason like why he didn't get any nominations was because he didn't.
Did he not enter in? He didn't enter in, did he?
No, he did, but he didn't want to. They asked him to play, I believe, and he didn't want to because he was playing the Super Bowl. I think he was saying like he had to like prepare for a Super Bowl performance, so he didn't have time to prepare for a Grammy performance. I believe. I think it was something like that. Like that was part of the reason why he didn't even get any nominations.
That's fucking crazy,
Dude,
dude.
biggest rob was Phoebe Bridgers.
That's what I was about to
She didn't
say.
get
That's what I was about to
anything.
say. Yeah.
She had like 4 nominations and she got nothing.
Dude, it's such a shame that she lost all of them.
She should have won.
What should she have won? I'm trying to think.
Best new. Who won Best New Artist? Was it Doja Cat?
No, I think it was fucking. No, it's Megan Thee Stallion. It was Megan Thee Stallion.
You know what? Let's pull these up and react to them.
It was Megan Thee Stallion.
I'm gonna pull these all up.
Dude, let's pull. Okay, we'll just do like a jump cut to you like getting them or something.
No, let's get them right now. It's good. We'll leave it right.
Dude, but
We leave it right.
dude, this is a good idea. Like we could just look at all of them and then kind of give. I know that I haven't listened to all of them. But like I don't know. I think I've listened to enough to kind of react to everything.
And okay, album of the year.
Okay,
Folklore won.
a fucking course.
Did you like Folklore or Evermore more?
I liked Evermore more.
I like Folklore more.
Dude, but would you give
Actually,
the album of the
no,
year?
no.
Dude,
I
wait,
didn't.
okay,
No,
hold
I
on, hold
didn't.
on,
I like
hold
Evermore
on.
more
Okay,
too.
other than that one, what are the 4 other albums that could have won album of the year?
Let me see.
What are the 4?
It's just showing me the winners. Let me
That
see.
Phoebe Bridgers didn't win. Oh my god, dude.
Let's see. Okay, so album, bro. I could have told you Folklore was gonna win before it even got nominated.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
album of the year, 2021. It was nominations.
Folklore.
It was okay. So it was
Okay, okay.
it was the Black Pumas album.
As what?
This album of the year. This is like 4 album of the year. It was the Black Pumas album, the Jeannie Naoko album, and then Jesse Volume 3 with Jacob Collier. The Coldplay album. Did you see that? The Coldplay album got nominated not only for this, but also for the best rock album
That's
category.
fucking crazy.
What is that? Folklore?
It was alright, dude. It was alright.
Yeah, it was alright, but it's
alright.
not Grammy worthy, especially not 2 nominations. Folklore?
I'm glad to see. I was happy to see Jacob's album, Jesse Volume 3, as like one of the nominations. Like that was sick.
I like that. I like that.
That was super sick.
It's pretty good.
That's like a game changer in like nominating like albums and stuff. So yeah.
I don't remember there was one track off it that I really liked. I don't remember.
Oh,
what it was
what's
called.
it?
The one at the very end, like the one by himself, the solo one. I don't exactly remember.
I'm trying to think of the name.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, freaking. I think that Curated won for like all the dance pop stuff or like the dance electronic stuff. And that was super, super valid. And who else? Kyoto didn't win anything, which was fucking crazy. Kyoto by Phoebe didn't win anything.
Phoebe didn't win a single Grammy.
Kyoto
She
didn't.
got
Yeah,
nothing.
I mean, yeah. Phoebe didn't win a single freaking Grammy. I don't know. Grammys are rigged. Fuck the Grammys. But at the same time, it looks really cool to be at, so I want to be there one day.
But it was okay. So Black Pumas album, the Jeannie Naoko album, Jesse Volume 3, the Coldplay album, Folklore, Future Nostalgia, and Hollywood's Bleeding. Folklore won out of that. I'm okay with that. based
Future
on
Nostalgia
everything
could have
else.
won too. I
I-
felt
I-
like that could have won.
I like Future Nostalgia more than Folklore, but I guess like out of all these winning,
Really?
yeah, for sure. I love Future Nostalgia. I like that album so much. I think Dua Lipa had a crazy year.
Dude, Dua Lipa
She
had a
won some
crazy
Grammys.
performance.
Her one song with I Can't Breathe. I could have told you that too before it. And then Billy won record of the year with Everything I Wanted.
How'd you feel about that one? I remember the day,
I gotta
dude.
see the other nominees. I like Everything I
What
Wanted.
were we
I thought it
doing,
was a
bro?
good
Okay,
song.
okay.
All of the singles Billy dropped this year I thought were really good.
I swear, dude. Okay, so when Everything I Wanted like dropped, we were gonna go to the Thundercat concert, and I went into your car because you gave me like a ride, and then I was like, "Yo, what do you think of this song?" And you're like,
Yeah, it really grew on me.
yeah, but it really grew on you though. But I remember the first time you heard it, it didn't like grow on you at all. I
No,
remember
the first listen, it was all right.
yeah,
I like Everything I Wanted a lot too. I think all of her singles this year were phenomenal. Grammy.
Billy's kind of like
She kind of hasn't missed yet.
she's kind of the queen of pop right now. I feel like.
I
Like,
really,
who's better than Billie Eilish right now?
dude. I feel like she's in such a state of volatility though. Like she's just been hitting after hitting after hitting after hitting. She hasn't missed yet.
She just doesn't miss.
She
no.
has to miss eventually.
No. It's because Phineas is just backing her up on like everything, and like she's crazy good. I don't know.
Okay, here's the Grammy website.
They're just like a great pair. I was watching a Benny Blanco interview the other day, and then like he was talking about how he's like not talented like technically at music because he doesn't know how to do like all the theory stuff, but like in terms of like production, like Phineas knows like the theory and he knows how to like be like a really good, or he is like a really good producer.
Well, it's two different kinds of musicianship.
Yeah.
Like the theory is very like removed. Like you really don't have to understand theory at all to be a good musician. It's very removed because you can know how to play music. Theory is the concept of understanding why those things sound the way they do. It's not the concept of playing it.
Yeah.
Those are two very different things.
I think I want to be able to read notes though. Like at one point.
I can read a little bit of music.
Yeah, I could. I
From
can
this
kinda,
class I've
no,
been
I
taking?
can't. I forgot how to.
I'll probably be able to read music fluently by next year because I can read like I can read like a good amount of music right now just from like the theory class I'm taking, but then I'm taking another theory class over the summer, and I'll after that I should be able to read music pretty fluently.
Yeah, like I don't know. I've been so scared from taking theory because it's like a few people in my group talk about it here and there, and I'm always like I don't get that. I don't want to get too much into that like realm. Because I have to be like a nerd about that shit, and I'm not like, because I'm already like so far removed because I'm doing like all like my music and stuff, and that doesn't really require me to know theory. But in terms of like I do run into some things sometimes where I feel like if I knew theory or at least a little bit of it, it could probably help me. Like for instance, like because I'm a very visual learner, whenever harmonies are done, I'm so shit at it. Because I can't just like stay on that note, and I feel like if I were able to read everything better, I don't know. I feel like I would be a better like harmony person. But yeah, there's times when it kind of stumps me here and there.
Well, what would you be reading?
I don't know, just like parts and stuff, and just like being able to like look at the paper and be like, okay, so
This is an A flat.
yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I feel like just like even knowing, just like reading notes and stuff like that would really help me out. Like, at least in that sense.
Honestly, as a singer, you could learn like a lot of just very basic music theory that'll help you out. Like just understanding like key signatures and understanding like basic note value would like actually probably really help.
Just like know, just know about it. Like I'm always like doing stuff and I'm like singing and I'm around like Rafa and Grant and they're like, "Yo, you just did this or you just did that," and I'm like, "What?" They're like, "You just did like this like." I don't know. They get like all geeky about like the music theory thing, and I just have no idea what I've done. And it would help, like because everything is like so accidental. Like Jacob Collier played like a bunch of like inverted chords before knowing that he played inverted chords when he was like in his teens. So it would just be helpful to know. Just be helpful to know about that stuff.
And you can learn, dude. You can learn like really basic theory.
I just have to go on
easily.
YouTube and then just like fucking educate myself.
Yeah, I mean, especially for like basic, like once it gets to like a really extreme level, that's a different thing. You probably have to have a teacher, but like just learning basic note value and learning like just basic theory concepts, you could easily learn off YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. I'm planning on going to a contemporary voice lessons teacher maybe at one point. Like that'd be really cool to do.
Like once COVID is done.
Yeah, because my old voice lessons teacher, who's I don't know, she trained me in like theater stuff, like when I was doing theater stuff, and I just don't really think that that's helpful, like especially with the style that I do, because I think I sing it a little bit more of an avant-garde, like like you can't get someone who's like a Broadway teacher to teach like Robert Plant how to sing.
That's a very good point.
You can't. You have to get like the right vocal teacher.
I don't even know if you can teach that. Like his, like for example,
no, he just has the sauce.
His voice is just he has the sauce.
He just has the sauce, dude. There's people who just have the sauce and who don't have the sauce. Like that's just how it is, dude.
Do you have the sauce?
I think so.
You
I
got a
think I have a
little
little bit
bit
of sauce.
Maybe like
There's
a
some
light
people who
glaze.
I've like definitely like come across that I just don't think have the sauce, but that's like a personal thing. I think the sauce is kind of like
The sauce. What's the sauce?
because it's like I don't
tell
know.
me about the
It's just
sauce.
like a little flair. It's like I don't know because you could take something that's like bare bones. Like you could take like a rotisserie chicken that's like from Safeway, or you can go to like Chick-fil-A, and then you can get like the chicken there, and the chicken there is like way cooler than the chicken you get to say. I don't know. The sauce is the sauce, and I definitely think that you could recognize it. I mean, especially like with you music reviewing, someone who's singing.
But you don't eat chicken.
I mean, I'm just saying though, yeah. But that's kind of how I think about it. But yeah, I don't know. There's like a lot of people that I've worked with, and just it's kind of like recognizing also like where they identify as an artist, and kind of like seeing what they do that's strong, what their strong suits are, and I don't know. I just recognize like a lot of people, even like people that have hit me up to like write with me, that I'm kind of just like, there's just something off, and that's because they don't have the sauce, or they don't have that much
Well,
sauce.
what you were saying about like vocals, I 100% know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like you can't teach
You can't teach shit,
uniqueness,
dude.
or like you can teach some. There's a very big. This is what I think. I've had a lot of conversations about this because a lot of people don't agree with me, but I feel like there's like a technical singer and a good singer, and where the lines of subjectivity and objectivity kind of blur is when you become expressive. Like I think it's very different to be able to sing technically good,
Technically good.
like for example, you have a good range, or you can hit an A flat, or you can hit a low
If I really
note,
wanted
or
to be
have
like a technical person, I would say that Phoebe Bridgers isn't a good singer.
oh no, yeah, that's
Like
my,
if I really
that's my whole
wanted
point.
to be that way, but
Because good singers are fucking boring.
good singers are fucking boring. Yeah,
That's
usually.
that's my thing. It's like good singers are boring.
I remember there's this one time. Remember when we were doing? Okay, so those who don't know, Dante actually played drums for me for a few times. We did the song called what was it? Street Life by Kanye West, and we were like playing it, and then you were on the drums, Nora was on the piano, and then I was on the guitar. And I remember when I was playing on stage, Miss Amy told me like, "Hey, Lance, like when you perform, can you not like close your eyes? Like,
Do you
can
wanna
you
talk
like
about who
look to
Miss
the
Amy
audience?"
is?
I'm like, and it's kind of like, it's just like, oh, okay. I mean, no, that's the way that I like kind of sing, and that's the way I kind of want to express the song. She was cool that she's like, oh, okay, that's okay. It's just like also like I don't know, like a choir teacher, what they consider a good voice. I never got like the solos in choir, and I mean to be fair, I never tried because I never wanted to subject to that like singing voice. But what choir teachers think is the best singing voice is like kind of that musical theater, kind of that Disney singing voice, something that's pleasant for like Mormon parents to hear or Christian parents to hear. So,
Like they wouldn't say like those same vocal teachers would probably say like, oh, Robert Plant is not a good singer, or they would say things
that's like the craziest thing. Yeah, exactly.
or like maybe somebody, okay, I don't know, like for me in my music, dude, like one of them, like the biggest things for me that I love in a lot of like popular music is just like somebody who has a very strange and obscure and like just expressive voice, like Brian Sella from the Front Bottoms, or like Robert Plant, or like Hobo Johnson. Somebody who has a voice that is actually interesting.
Yeah.
Like not a boring. Or Connor Oberst from Bright Eyes is like the
I
best.
was actually about to
example
bring
of
him up. Yeah,
this.
Connor.
That's like the best. I think it's the best example. He's not a technically good singer. Like no vocal coach is gonna look at Connor Oberst and say, "Wow, he is." I
I don't consider myself a technically good singer, like by any means.
because you aren't. You break all the rules, then that's
I
why
break
your
like
voice
literally
is interesting.
every rule. Like if I were, like I think I thought to Miss Amy sometimes whenever I was singing, it was probably similar to like chalk scratching on like on a board. I just don't sing the way that like teachers. I remember Shamir also talked to me about it too. Shamir.
Because he's the same type of thing.
Yeah, Shamir is the same type of thing. Shamir was in choir in high school and then told me about his experience with the teacher literally bullying his very high pitched voice, which he has no control over.
But his voice is like incredibly
Fucking
expressive because
Yeah,
it's so
I know,
high.
yeah.
Like that's what makes it so interesting because it's different. It's not boring.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Like I really like. I don't know. I think that's a big problem with like academic vocal music. Like I don't have anything against academic music. In fact, I think academic music's amazing. I think it's such a good thing. But I do also feel like there's a very big difference from. This goes back to the whole difference from like knowing how to understand what somebody's playing and knowing how to play what somebody's playing. They're two different things. You can know theory to the 10th degree. You can be an amazing music theorist and be a terrible songwriter.
Yeah.
Like, they're two very different things in the same way that singing technically good and singing to a place where somebody would actually enjoy what you're putting out into the world, those are two very different things.
I don't know, man. I'd see a lot of like kind of all right singers that like, okay, they're good at singing, but then it's like when they get out of like choir, they're writing their own stuff, and their own stuff is just terrible, like terrible. You know, and I've seen that before, but it's like,
well, like writing vocal charts and writing actual tracks.
No, writing
very
like
different.
songs and stuff. So it's just like, it's also difficult, to be fair, to be good at writing and to also be good at singing at once. Like, it's definitely like a skill that you have to like. It doesn't happen like instantly or overnight. But yeah, I don't know. There's just like a lot of people who are singers and sing covers. Like, I remember my friend Jen from high school. I always asked her, I'm like, yo, are you gonna ever write something? And then, you know, she always just didn't. She never felt like writing, but she's like an amazing vocalist. But there's some people who are just vocalists and they don't write their own stuff. So
that's the next step. That's like, they're two different steps.
There are a lot of famous singers, actually, famous vocalists that don't write their stuff. Whitney Houston
Frank
never
Sinatra
wrote her own
Did you
music.
know that?
What's
Frank
that?
Sinatra didn't write any of his own music.
Oh, I knew that.
Elvis wrote very little.
Very little of his music, yeah.
Dude, that's why I hate it when people are like, oh my god, this pisses me off. When people are, it's so short-sighted and so uneducated. When people are saying when people say things as a critique of pop music or as a critique of hip-hop music, they say, modern artists don't write their own music. Modern artists have 15 writers in the room while they're trying to write a song. Which, while that may be true, that's not modern music. That is popular music.
Yeah.
Ever since music has been not privatized, but ever since music has had potential for revenue growth, ever since labels have got involved with artists, multiple songwriters often work on tracks that you hear on the radio. That's a very common thing, and that's not new.
That's just how it is. I mean, like, when you put stuff on like that gets like radio play on like, you know, the most popular like station in Los Angeles, like, I mean, that's just like a lot of like pressure, I feel like. And, you know, you want to have like people behind that, if, you know, audio engineers, people who are mixing it, people who are, you know, even if it isn't writing, just helping in other aspects, you know. And I always witness that. Like, you know, I thought for a while that we could do a lot of like my music without like seeking any help, but at one point, like, if you want songs to sound like that better, like tier, you know, you need to get an audio engineer involved, you know, even if we produce the whole thing ourselves, which is why we on this most recent track, which I'll talk about in a little bit,
we should probably get to your actual music.
Yeah. the most recent track, Truman, we paid this audio engineer that my friend Cyrus knew from him doing like a bunch of like sound at his church. So and it sounds like amazing. I'm so glad that we did it. And I think, another exciting thing, Shamir, I was talking to him. He said that he knows an audio engineer that it's also another thing. It's also a little bit difficult to find an audio engineer. Like, you had to just it's kind of like how people use a bunch of different producers and different producers and different producers until they find their, you know, they find their sound. This audio engineer, he, as great as he is and stuff, like, I need to like find someone who's more suited with the stuff that I'm doing. So I was on the phone with Shamir for a few hours, maybe like a week ago, and he was telling me that he knew someone who mixes and masters all of Rina Sawayama's stuff. So I'm gonna get like in contact with like him and stuff, and Shamir's gonna give me his number soon. So hopefully I can get my stuff like mixed by him, because that would be really sick.
That's what's so weird to me about Holbrook. Like, it's literally like no studio.
Oh, yeah.
None.
It's all made in this room or outside.
That's so crazy. Where did you like record? Like, where were you actually recording stuff? Just here? Like, just in the room? Like,
or outside, yeah, or outside. Like, but when we did vocals, I don't know if this camera can pick it up, but those jackets right there and stuff, like, I remember there was like this microphone that was hanging down from one of those lights, and it had like a sock on it. And that was actually where I recorded Y2K. But I mean, we had like a bunch of portable stuff. There was actually one night where we were working on Calvin's where we were in the front yard and we had like just like a table set up, or like in the
Oh, that's
backyard.
kind of cool.
Yeah, in the backyard we had like a sock on like the mic, and then we had like BGVs put in for Alyssa and Untitled, and then it was all like a scramble of things. And then I think where that camera is placed right now, we were working on we were finishing up Calvin's there. But yeah, I don't know. It was so euphoric finishing up that whole project. Holy shit, it was so crazy. I remember we went over to Safeway, and then we saw Aiden Jackman and we saw Gabe, so Golden Boy. And then that was actually the first time I've actually met Gabe. And then I remember I was like, "Yo, what's up, Aiden? What's up?" I'm like, "Dude, I've heard your music. Like, I'm a huge fan." And then I think like a week later, Aiden sent Gabe Calvin's. It's like, "Yo, this is the guy that we like met over at Safeway." And then that was like the last night like I was like working on like Holbrook. So that's crazy. But yeah, Truman was also like, I remember at one point you were writing music. Like, how long would it take you to write a song?
When I would just like mess around and write music.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Not long. Could just shit, but just because I never took it seriously.
Yeah.
Like it was always just me messing around. Like if I take it seriously, longer. But just like writing lyrics and stuff just for fun, I'd never put any real time into it.
For sure. Truman took me like, dude. Actually, I've always wanted to say this like publicly. Like, man, no one can hear Truman yet, but that's okay. Truman, there's this guitar.
By the way, Truman is Lance's upcoming track. I feel like we should.
Truman is my
disclose
upcoming.
this,
Yeah, I should probably say that. Truman is my
Yes.
upcoming track.
which will be out
The 13th of
the
April.
13th of
The
April.
13th of April.
And that is why we are here, promoting the Truman.
And yeah, so freaking. First off, with that track, I should probably say without like spoiling it too much, it's just a guitar riff that runs throughout the whole song, and where that came from is pretty much like I had a dream. I was taking like a nap, and it was like a 3-hour nap, and it was the first time that I've ever dreamt music and remembered it.
Whoa.
And then that was like a guitar riff that was kind of, because before I went to sleep, I had a dream. Or no. I was listening to Chip Crumbs and the Monotones, the new Neighborhood album, and I don't know, it put me in this trance, I guess, like going to sleep. And I don't know, it just made me think of that riff, and then I woke up from the nap, and then I go to my voice memo. I'm like, yo, Kate. I have this riff in my head, and she was like around like in the Bay Area. She wasn't in Orange County in college. She was home for the holidays. I was like, yo, I have this idea, Kate. What do you think of this? And I just like, I hummed the riff into the voice memo, and then I sent it to her. She's like, yo, that's fire. Like, yo, I'll come over tomorrow, and then we'll like write it a little bit. So I wrote most of Truman. I wrote the bulk with Kate, but that's usually how it is. Like in my voice memos, you can just hear
How
me.
is this?
That's literally how it is, bro. Dude, Keys originally had this guitar riff, and then I was like, because I got with Roth, and Roth was like, yo, do you want like anything else in this song? I was like, okay. I was thinking around this time
Make
there
it
could
sound
be
like this.
there could be a down. But the thing is though, they're never laughing at me because that's the way that I come up with melodies.
I feel like a lot of people do that. You're just admitting it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
like-
Definitely.
See, and
and
that's
there's nothing to be ashamed about either.
No,
There's nothing
bro.
to be ashamed about. Because, I mean, just a really, really good music theory person or someone with really good ears could just pick it up and play it on the guitar. So,
That's where like the crossover is.
yeah, that's where the crossover
theory,
is.
The theory to like.
Bro, speaking of theory, I came up with this melody the other day for this song that I'm working on, and then Cyrus was like, bro, you just did the harmony for the main line. Like, you made, like, a different harmony. And I'm like, what the fuck? I did that? And he's like, yeah, dude, I think subconsciously you made a harmony. So that was crazy.
Like, oh, I see. So
Subconsciously, I
later
wrote
in
a
your
harmony.
head?
And yeah. Oh, and then Truman. Yeah, so that's... I remember I was also watching... I had Rich and I had my friend Christian over. And I was watching the Truman Show. And I was like, oh, how cool would it be if... on top of, because I also like another thing, since Rich is making like music videos to all of my songs, I really want to write them visually and focus on writing them visually. So I was like, man, like what if I wrote a song with having the Truman Show like in my head, and that just made everything like way easier to write. and it'll make more sense once the song comes out and the cover art is there. But it was really really cool finally, and I'm pretty sure that there's like a lot of artists that have given like odes to really famous movies. So I thought like having that as like one of the main just as like an aesthetic, Truman Show is really really cool. It's really bright, it's really sunny, but it's a really fucked up world. Pretty much Truman Show, if no one knows, Truman Burbank, Jim Carrey's character, lives his life in a TV show unbeknownst to himself. And when I don't know, until he's like 30. And pretty much like he doesn't know that he's in a TV show. He like, he's raised a baby, and then there's like actors around him. And then he lives in a place called Sea Haven, I think is like the set. But it's like a huge movie set in a huge dome. And I thought it would be cool to write like, not only like, because the subject matter going in was me getting out of something, or I think Kate was telling me about the situation too, that perfect world that you want to like live in once you get out of like a relationship where you think that other person still has reciprocated feelings for you. And I was like, okay, like, that's obviously like not true. As much as you want that other person to feel for you, they don't. And you're kind of living in a weird bubble, a weird lie. So I thought that the Truman Show would play into that. Just using that as an aesthetic would be really cool.
That's a cool analogy.
Yeah.
I never thought like I've never really watched the Truman Show, but I never thought about this. So that was like the whole inspiration.
That's kind of the whole, yeah. No, because I always have an existential crisis with songs when I can't like, not necessarily visually see them, but see them in any atmosphere. I always get really, really, really choked up about it. And it took me a few days to kind of think about it. It's always good to take like time in between with yourself and just kind of like take a break from like writing, just listen to music, do your own thing. And yeah, it's pretty much what that was, is I watched like the Truman Show, and I was like, oh man, so this song is about that. This could amplify that idea a little bit more. So yeah.
How often are you like actively writing?
I wish I had an organized time where I write. But it all comes, yeah, Truman I wrote in one day. So that was like, and then Keys I wrote in 30 minutes.
It's just super random.
Yeah, super fucking random times. Keys is, I still pat myself on the back for writing that shit in 30 minutes, because that's just like a very difficult idea to come up with. But I mean, as an artist, when you come up with an idea, you come up with an idea. And then once you like have time in between it, you elongate the process. It just gets like, more flooded with less of what you came into thinking that track would be. So it's always good to work on things.
It's like a wave.
Yeah, exactly. You want to ride that wave. You want to.
Creativity comes in, and you have to like. It's weird. You have to like sprint somewhere to write it down so you don't forget it.
Yeah, you want to ride that energy wave. You want to make sure that it's the most organic that it could be. Mm-hmm. And the way that I've like kind of, the way that I see writing is like, I write it in a very organic way. And I remember the other night actually, Kate was telling us about the situation about how I don't know if I'm exposing her right now. If she was really into this girl, and she was telling us about it at the that my dinner table, which has really cinematic lighting. We were all sitting around. She was telling us about her problems, and then I remember after she left, it was just my homie Christian and I, and then I was just kind of like humming and like playing a few chords on the guitar. And he's like, "Yo, what if we like wrote this about like Kate's situation?" So things just come at like from a just cold rush to the head. And, I ended up writing maybe my most, like, romantic song ever that night. So, yeah. I don't know. Everything just kind of comes very organically. And if it doesn't, I just feel like, yeah, once my music isn't organic, that's when, like, I should definitely take a break and I should rethink everything I've been doing. Because that's when I know that it feels wrong.
Since Keys, how's your, like, day-to-day changed? Like, since Keys, has it been, like, a lot different? Because I feel like you gained a lot of traction from Keys, and it was definitely a big moment from you. Like compared to, like, the last time we did one of these, Keys kind of changed everything,
when did we...
Bro. November. I was looking this morning.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. That's so much has changed since then. I think one of the biggest things is, like, my record label guy, he pitched me to, like, a lot of tastemakers. And then ever since then, I think they've had their eye on me. And then Sam Morrison from Lyrical Lemonade, that was a crazy fucking thing. I woke up in the morning and then Sam was like, "Hey, I just need like the cover art for Keys, and then I'll put it on the site now and premiere like your video." I think ever since then, just like knowing people in the industry was probably the craziest thing from Keys. And I think with Truman, they're probably like all like waiting for that kind of like song So I don't know. That'll be very, very interesting to see because Truman is. I mean, you've heard Truman. Truman's a very dude. Have you heard the final version of Truman? I feel like I showed you the demo version, but not like the final.
I don't
Final
think I've
version.
heard the final like mix
I'll
version
show. I'll show.
yet.
I'll show you it after we're
Okay.
done with this. But pretty much like yeah. It's weird because it's a very different song than Keys. It's a very poppy track,
It's more
as you know.
upbeat, right?
Very, very upbeat.
Yeah.
My first upbeat song ever, surprisingly so. And I just think that Truman is going to be that song that's like, wow, I didn't expect this kid to do that. Because I think one of the main things that I'm kind of doing right now is I don't want to look like a one-trick pony. I don't want to be solidified
That's
as
good
like
that you're establishing
a
that
lot of
so
people were
early.
saying like, oh, Lance is doing this R&B, this R&B artist, R&B. And as much as I love R&B, as much as I want that to be in my sound, I don't classify myself as an R&B artist. You know, I
Do you
classify
classify
myself as a
yourself-
pop artist.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. Truman is definitely going to be that song that I think a lot of people will be surprised by. Not to discredit anything before Truman, but I think that Truman is a very, very playlistable, very listenable song. So I'm excited to like get that out. And yeah, I don't know. It was a very, very, very dreamlike idea, I guess I got. And then yeah, it kind of seeing it into fruition is crazy.
Was the writing process for Truman shorter or longer than Keys?
Wait. In terms of production, we came into the hard process for me is always the production.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
always what it is.
Because since you're working with other producers, you kind of have to like translate the ideas in your head to them, like make something they can understand.
Yeah, and yeah, my producers they're still the homies that I made like Holbrook with. But yeah, I don't know. I think that it's just hard to write with people. Even like writers have hit me up since Keys. I mean, other than like A&R people and label people. And then I don't know. It's just like it's and Benny Blanco said it the other day, like in an interview, who's like a producer for like Justin Bieber, literally all the relevant people we grew up like listening to. And he only does collabs with his friends and he produces for his friends because he doesn't want to producing and writing with people. It's kind of like you want to understand what they're going through, and I think that Ed Sheeran was really close to Benny Blanco and they toured together and then they wrote a bunch of stuff together because, when you're producing and you're writing with someone, you want to make sure that you're very comfortable and you're telling them about your day-to-day life more importantly than just your artist life and just your music life. So I don't know. Eventually we overcome everything. We're all really good at communicating with each other. So
I mean, that's the weird part about having so many songwriters on a song, right? It's like having that idea of like these people are trying to like come up with like things that represent you almost, and when in reality a lot of those things only you can translate properly.
there's just one lyric in the song that I listened to recently. I'm not gonna name drop because I think people are friends with this person, but they have a lyric in their song that I absolutely hate. But that's just like me. But they probably love it. I think it's I'm a vintage girl hanging with the flashback kids. I need a vintage boy for my outfits. And that's kind of like, I don't know. Even just like things like that. I don't know. I personally would never write. And if anyone were to suggest that to me, I would just tell them to kindly not help me. Yeah, I think one of the writers tried to help me out, but it was just kind of like, it was difficult to kind of exchange ideas. I think at one point I'll write with this writer, but I don't know. It's just difficult to exchange ideas when you're in different creative spaces.
You also it's also like you trying to take something out of your head and put it into a way that somebody else can like show to somebody else. It's like very removed if you think about it.
Yeah, I understand. Kate understands me. That's why we're like the best like writing partners ever.
And it's probably because you guys are so close.
We're so close. Yeah, we're
Like
just
if
best
you
friends.
weren't
Yeah.
that close, she wouldn't understand like your headspace to be able to write with you like that.
No. I all the friends around me. Yeah, I'm so scared to find like different. I think for a while it's gonna definitely be like me producing stuff with like my normal group. But in terms of like mixing and mastering, I probably get like an outside audio engineer, because that's like a different process. But
That's
like
less removed, yeah.
yeah, I think that. Yeah, the key to really, really get a grasp on your style is to have good people around you. Have people who understand your style, who understand you, and know what's best for you. So yeah,
And that's hard, and that's really cool that you
it's
found like
yeah, dude. It's honestly lucky. because you don't always find that. You don't always find a group of people who are down to do stuff with you and who will understand you completely. Because I don't know, Keys was like a very R&B song, and I wanted to make a pop track, and they're like, okay, look, this is how we're gonna convert this over to this, and it'll be cohesive. So, yeah.
What huge connections have you made from Keys? Like, what big connections since then have you made?
I keep a little bit on the low, but I've definitely gotten closer with Laura. There's this new TikTok girl named Ella that I've gotten a little bit closer to, who's a pop artist from TikTok.
Was that all from Keys?
That was not from Keys.
Mm-hmm.
One big one I'm thinking of that I got from Keys. But yeah, I don't know. I guess just like a lot of industry people have hit me up. Dodie's manager, she's a singer songwriter who's affiliated with like Jacob Collier. Sometimes, and like Lizzie McAlpine, her manager hit me up, and I think I don't know, and I guess in a way, oh yeah, Q's manager, Q the R&B artist, his manager Brandon loved my song Keys off of hearing it off the Before the Data post, so yeah, that was kind of just like a lot of people, like random people, like followed me, and then this one woman named Ruby, who's from Terrible Records, who's had like Twin Shadow, Caroline Polachek, Blood Orange.
Cool.
They manage Claude right now. She reached out to me. And she really loved Keys.
I thought Phoebe Bridgers managed Claude, or is she on
Phoebe Bridgers signed
Okay.
Claude, but I think Ruby's Terrible Records, they manage Claude and everything. But yeah, Keys is a very left song, so I'm glad that a lot of people like found comfort in that song, because it's a very, very, very weird track. I was so scared to release that song, Dante. I think I talked to you about it. I was like, I don't know if people are going to like the song. It was kind of different, but it also wasn't from like my past stuff.
Does that give you confidence moving forward
definitely.
with Truman? Like, are you nervous to release Truman at all?
No, I think that Truman is, I don't want to sound egotistical at all, but it's true. I think I am the most, I've never been so optimistic about a song release in my life. I've never been so hopeful and so confident and like, yeah, I think that this will do pretty good.
Dude, I'm excited for him. I'm really excited to see people's reactions.
I'm really excited to show you after this I'm giving you an early preview of it. I'm really excited.
All right, let's wrap it up then.
Let's wrap it up, dude.
So I can hear Truman.
Truman, April 13th on all streaming platforms. Truman, as in Truman Show, as in with Jim Carrey, as in Jim Carrey from The Mask.
All those things. April 13th?
April 13th, Truman. Thank you so much for having me, Dante.
Appreciate you, man.
It's fun.
Always.
It was fun.
All right, we'll do it again soon.
Yeah.
Music matters.
Music matters.